So we've done quite a lot of videos recently on tech costing $50, tech costing $100, and a lot of you guys have been commenting saying that what you really want to see is budget tech that you can go out, buy, and not worry about. So let's get started. So we're going to start things off with the T90 gaming mouse. So coming in at just over $15, it's got a surprisingly solid build quality. It's got 7 different coloured LEDs inside of it, and whilst the lighting isn't perhaps the most consistent around the mouse, it does have a lot of different modes to play with. We've also got some quite handy gaming features. Inside the mouse are 8 custom weights, so you can use that to adjust how heavy it is and how much stability the mouse has. It's good for left and right-handed users, and there's a little custom button on the side which, for a single click of that, reproduces a double click. Next up is the K6 telephoto lens for a phone or a tablet. And these things haven't really taken off, perhaps because of their size, perhaps because most people don't really need to zoom in that much. But with a fixed zoom of 8 times and an aperture of f1.1, you can actually get some pretty interesting shots. Now it fits onto most devices pretty well with a built-in clip that's kind of attached to it, but if your phone's camera is towards the edge of the phone, it can feel a little bit unsteady. Now looking at the kind of images we can get, from a normal image like this sticking on the telephoto lens, you can crop that in 8 times without really losing too much detail. You do get that kind of circular effect where the lens cuts off, and the image does blur around the edges too, but nonetheless it's quite interesting. Next up is a pair of earphones called the HM7, and powered by a 9mm dynamic driver, we're getting extreme levels of detail, quite a nice bright sound signature, and an enveloping amount of bass. There's almost no sub-bass present, but I bet you that's more their intended sound signature rather than a mistake. It makes them a more easy listening experience, and as a nice little bonus, they cut off almost all the background noise. So next up we have the Olixar drop and play wireless speaker. And for those of you who've not been introduced to induction technology, as long as you have your phone's NFC on, you can play music through your phone and just drop it onto the speaker, and all of a sudden, as if by magic, the sound transfers to the speaker. Whilst you're not really getting any increase in detail, what you are getting is a huge amount of bass and a lot more volume. This thing can output at about 4 times the volume of most smartphones. It doesn't feel like much in the hand, but I assure you, it is very loud. Then we have the Lux, which for some is going to be a genius invention, and others honestly a bit of a foolish one. But essentially, it's a flashlight for your smartphone. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, phones do tend to already have flashlights built into them, but this one plugs into your headphone socket and is far brighter. It's not actually powered by the phone, it's got a little switch inbuilt onto it, and it's chargeable by micro USB. Having 4 separate lights on it, it actually illuminates objects much more clearly. It gives them more definition and a little bit more of a natural lighting experience, bringing them out much more than the background. Now, I very rarely look at cables on this channel because I know they're just not that interesting, but this one is quite special. Deemed as the magic cable, it essentially has not only a micro USB slot, but turning it around, a lightning connection. So it can actually, yeah, you heard that right, plug into both iPhones and Android phones at the same time. This one-of-a-kind cable is honestly really quite impressive to look at. You just have to make sure you get it the right way around. It doesn't have that sort of double-sided feature of the lightning connection. So guys, there you have it. That was best tech under $25. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up because these videos take me really long to make. I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.